Hello Internet, Magicman here from MMOBomb.com, and today we're bringing you our very first Ask MMOBomb, the show where you get to ask anything you want, free-to-play game related usually, but if you've got other questions, we'll take those too. Nothing's off limits, but maybe we'll censor them if your language gets a little funny. I'm going to take you through a couple of questions from the free-to-play cast. We'll give you some answers. If you've got questions, make sure you put them in the comments below. Rate, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff that everybody's competing for you to do for them. So, without further ado, let's get to the first question. Alright, so Berard DiGiorgio says, tell us the whole history of MMOBomb.com. Well, Berard, this is a question we actually get quite a bit. And in light of recent events, the new people coming over from that site that shall remain nameless, you know what I'm talking about. We get this question even more often, so we thought we'd start off our very first show with this question. If you go to the About Us section in the bottom of the website there, you'll see photos of myself and other directors from the website. You'll also see a photo of the owner. Now, his name is Luis Paulo Dobrera, and he's the one that started this all. Back in mid-2000s, like 2005, 2006-ish, Luis worked for a very, very big internet gaming portal in Portugal. If you're familiar with IGN, think that type of scale, a massive portal network of sites. Now, everything was going fine until about 2008, when the United States economy collapsed and took a bunch of the global economy with it. And I'm sorry about that. I mean, well, it wasn't really my fault, but you get the point. So, when that happened, the portal decided to try and shop around and find somebody to buy it, but it was just much too big to be purchased, so it folded. Unfortunately, this left Luis without a job. So this was around, again, around 2008, and keep in mind, free-to-play did exist, but the West, particularly the United States, really wasn't catching on to it, kind of looked down on the whole free-to-play market. So Luis saw this as the future of gaming, started his blog. The site wasn't up to the par that he would have liked, but more and more people started joining in. Eventually, that blog morphed into Free MMO Gamer. Now, some of you longtime MMO bombers already know that title. In fact, if you check out our YouTube page, it still bears the name Free MMO Gamer, because that's where it started. Eventually, Luis decided to put more and more money into this because the project kept growing. More people wanted to help out and do things for the site. And it morphed into MMOBomb, which is what we have today. And what's great about it is it's still the way Luis originally intended it to be. It's for gamers, by gamers. I have a day job. I do this mostly for fun, to talk about games and things like that, which is really great because I can give you my honest opinion and not have to worry about ad revenue or anything. You're free to give your opinion on the site as well. So it's really for gamers, by gamers. And that's the history of MMOBomb.com in a nutshell. Take a look at the About Us for a full timeline from when it was Free MMO Gamer all the way to current day. Next question! Alright, next question is from TCA467685, who asks, what type of microphone setup do you use? P.S. Your voice is awesome. Thank you for the compliment, TCA, but this is actually a question we get quite a bit, and we're going to cover it in more detail on MMOBomb How To, our new show about producing internet content or gaming-related videos. But I'll touch briefly on it here. Now, I'm not going to run the whole gamut of audio and sound design, but I will take you through a couple different microphone options, just in case you want to get started. Now, right now, I'm wearing a lavalier mic, just clips to me here, and it's not the best mic in the world, but it's perfect for this type of stuff. This is really the only type of project that I would actually use it for, though. For the free-to-play cast, I use an Audio-Technica AT2020, and that's inside in the studio there. We also have a mixer, we hook it up through there, we do some different things with the sound. So that's something that we'll get into on the MMOBomb How To show. As far as other microphone options, though, the very first that you're probably most familiar with is a headset mic. And if you go back and listen to the very first free-to-play cast, I believe we called it The Ladies Will Love This. Hey, I'm sorry. We had no idea if any of you would actually listen, and you responded in full force, and we love you for it, so thank you. But if you go listen to that very first show, I don't sound very good. And that's because it was recorded with a $20 Logitech headset mic, and it sounds like it. So for sound, it's one of those things that you're going to have to put a little bit of money into it to get the quality you want. Now, a microphone can enhance the quality of your productions dramatically, but it's not the be-all, end-all. If you sound like a goof, and you spend $900 on a microphone, you're still going to sound like a goof. If you don't know what you're talking about, which sometimes I don't, that's still going to come across. But as far as quality, you want to put a little bit of money down. Now, the first option is, like I said, a headset microphone combination. You probably already use one or have used one for TeamSpeak and Ventrilo and Mumble and Skype and things like that. The one that I have that I use the most often is a Turtle Beach X12. It's about a $50, $60 headset mic combination, and it's got the little box on it for you to control your video or your volume and everything. Now, it's USB powered, but it is not a USB microphone headset. It still has 3.5mm jacks for both the headset and the microphone. And that's the best way to go if you can. However, a USB powered headset microphone is pretty convenient if you're going to be recording at different locations, because since it's just plug and play, you don't have to worry about drivers. So this is probably what you're going to be the most comfortable and the most familiar with. Find one that works for you as far as comfort. Don't spend $8 on a Skype headset and expect it to sound like a $70 or a $200 or a $300 headset and mic combination. They can get pretty pricey, so find one that works for you, works for your budget. Another option is something like this. This is a CAD U37 USB microphone, and whenever I use this, it's just hanging on a boom arm, usually right in front of me with a pop filter in front of it. That way I can do a first look video and not have to be touching anything. I don't have anything on. I'm just playing the game and talking. It makes commentary a lot easier because I don't have to worry about anything technical. I just sit there and talk while I'm playing the game. Now, the one that I use for the free-to-play cast, again, is the Audio-Technica AT2020. This CAD U37, they're a little bit cheaper, $60-70 for a USB-style one. And they'll do the job. They'll give you some good audio. They're not particularly known for great, outstanding audio, though. But the benefit with the CADs is that they do have a great body design for modding. So if you're good at soldering or tinkering or playing around and modifying it, these are great microphones to do that. Crack it open. This one's had a couple enhancements done to it as well that, you know, I spent $60 on it and modded it out. Same thing you do to your computer. You buy a box and mod it piece by piece the way you want. So you can get some great performance out of them. Out of the box, they're okay. Another microphone that a lot of podcasts use are the Blue Snowball and the Blue Yeti mic. Great USB microphones to check out, anywhere from about $70 to $110, depending on which style or which size you go with, things like that. If you remember Sajero on the free-to-play cast, he's taking a bit of a gaming hiatus right now, but he used the Yeti, and he sounded great, so that's another one to check out. My recommendation, if you're just getting started, though, to cut it short, get a headset, get a USB one, just because it'll be easier for a plug-and-play aspect. Spend a couple bucks, spend 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks, and go from there until you start making some more content and you're more familiar with your technical demands. Now, there comes a point, though, when you're spending money on a microphone that the money doesn't really help anymore, the more and more features, because since you're recording directly from a mic or from a headset directly to your computer, there's going to be a cap on the performance. However, when you start adding things in like mixers and post-production and different things that you can do with the audio that way before you are actually finalizing it, those features become a benefit, though. So unless you're going to get into mixers or anything like that at any point, I would settle for about a $50 headset mic, get yourself started, and get comfortable with it. Now, we're going to talk more about that on MMOBomb How To. I think that's going to be maybe episode 4. Or 2. Maybe 3. Next question! Alright, so David Kavist asks, If you could earn real money in a game, but you knew it would be hard, something like Entropia Universe, would you play it? Real money, hard. No. What? Next question. Alright, so RoboMan6978 says, can you give me any good gaming books to read? I need to fill some time waiting for Guild Wars 2. Well, as you've probably noticed from my dorky exterior, yes, I'm a dork about video games, but I'm pretty much a nerd about other things as well, especially reading. I mean, I'm a computer guy through and through. That's my day job. So, yes, I can definitely push you towards some good reading. Now, I'm not going to recommend things like the World of Warcraft books or the Guild Wars books or the Lord of the Rings books. Chances are, if you play those games, you already know those books exist. If you like Lord of the Rings Online, well, then you either like the Lord of the Rings IP and started playing the game, or you like the game and that's probably opened up the books or the movies as a way for you to get some more information about that lore. That's not hard. You can Google Lord of the Rings books or World of Warcraft books and you'll be fine. So I'm going to give you a push towards some books maybe you haven't heard of. This is a series called Popular Culture and Philosophy. And they're edited by Luke Cuddy. There's some other editors as well. I don't want to give Luke just the credit for these because there's really a whole team behind them. And they're brought out by Open Court Press. Now, the really cool thing about these books is there's about 70 of them, and they've got a few more in the works already. But what they are compilations of essays from multiple contributors. This one here is World of Warcraft and Philosophy. This one is the Legend of Zelda and Philosophy. I link, therefore I am. And the really cool thing about these books is that you don't have to know anything about philosophy to actually appreciate them. In fact, I'll be the first to admit that I don't. I've never taken a philosophy class. I've always been interested, but just never took the classes. I'm a computer guy, so... But what is particularly interesting about them is some of the essays take aspects of the games that you're playing and relate them to popular philosophy thoughts, and just have really cool discussions. Like in the World of Warcraft one, there's a piece about economy and the auction house and how that could translate to real-life economies. There's pieces about why rogues suck. Character creation, why people pick male, why they pick female. There's a great one in here about a guy who always plays female characters and then got trapped with his entire guild thinking that he was female, and just how it relates to perception of people. They're really, really interesting. And they're short reads, too. So it's not something you have to sink a lot of time into. You don't have to read it cover to cover. You can just pick the ones that you like and go through. They're super interesting. They're quick reads, great for the bus or the rails or the metros or whatever the hell it's called in your country. And in fact, Legend of Zelda, some interesting things in here. There's one story about why the Legend of Zelda may be sexist. I don't know. I didn't read it yet. But some great things for you to take a look at. One last aspect of particularly the gaming ones. The writers are gamers for the most part. In fact, the editor, if they use screenshots in their story, requires that they generate those screenshots through their own gameplay. So it's people that are gamers and happen to have an interest in philosophy, just kind of combining the two. Now, the series is Popular Culture and Philosophy. So there are books on The Simpsons and philosophy, Led Zeppelin and philosophy. One of the upcoming ones is Boardwalk Empire, the HBO show, and philosophy. So they're really interesting reads. You don't have to read them cover to cover, and yeah, I hope that tides you over and makes your summer reading list until Guild Wars 2 comes out. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. If you've got questions you'd like to see answered on the show, put them in the comments below. While you're there, click on like, click on subscribe. We really appreciate it. And Damina wanted me to let you know that apparently she's making a blooper reel because this, believe it or not, has not gone from cut 1 all the way through. There's been some things going on, but she wants to show those to you, so get me back for the Slender recording, I guess. So until next time, guys, if you like the show, let us know. You can send us your comments. You can also email your questions to magicman@MMOBomb.com. If you like it, thumbs us up. If not, the show will disappear. For gamers, by gamers, as Luis intended, so it's all up to you. Until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you on the servers. Now, there comes a point, though, when you spend money on a microphone that... Really? So I'm going to give you a push towards some books that maybe you haven't heard of before, that were just a little too far out of shot. So unless you're going to get into mixers and things like that, I would... So I'm going to give you a push So I want to give you something that's probably not... My wife just fell.